Our third speaker, David LaCours, will be speaking from the Specialty Speeches Manual, giving speech number 2, Uplift the Spirit. His speech will be 8 to 10 minutes long. Introverts are frequently misunderstood and maligned. David will inspire you to think differently about this amazing personality trait. David LaCours, Convert to Introvert. Convert to Introvert, David LaCours.
I'm sitting in the bathroom stall, fully clothed, at 11:58 on a Wednesday at the La Jolla Sheraton. Outside the bathroom, the whole group of networking is going on, and it is sucking the life out of me. So I hide. And I need to conserve my energy because I'm about to go on to give a keynote talk. Until the meeting planner comes in. David, I recognize you by your shoes. Those are nice. Just wanted to let you know the microphone's checked and we're ready for you to start whenever you're ready. This type of behavior may seem odd to you, but to me, I just needed a little bit of quiet time alone. You see, 25 to 50% of the population are actually introverts. And that may seem high to you because a lot of us introverts masquerade as extroverts. What I hope to do today is shed some light on introverts, commonly misunderstood and maligned, so that we don't have to hide in bathrooms. We can just tell people, I need some quiet time alone, and it'll be understood. So what I'm going to do today is share with you how to identify an introvert, that introverts are amazing, and then how to care for an introvert. Because I think that if introverts are understood, cared for, it'll make for a much more complete world. How to identify an introvert out in the wild. Extroverts tend to get energy from being around other people. They thrive among this social interaction. Introverts, by contrast, get energy from being alone with their own quiet time. Extroverts wilt and fade when being alone. Introverts thrive in this solitude period. Now leave an extrovert alone for 2 minutes and he'll reach for his cell phone to call anyone. Leave an introvert alone for 2 minutes and she'll reach for her smartphone, put on her headphones, and listen to a podcast of NPR's This American Life. Introverts are amazing. So some other ways that you can identify them is in school situations, introverts will tend to study by themselves, whereas extroverts prefer group study. In work situations, introverts like to work on projects by themselves. Extroverts tend to gravitate towards team situations. A famous introvert, Albert Einstein, said, I'm a horse for a single carriage, not made out for teamwork or tandem. For if there is a lofty goal, it is to be done by one person who needs to do the thinking and commanding. Here's some other interesting traits to help you identify an introvert out in the wild. We tend to abhor small talk, and which is why you'll find me, typically at the end of one of these Toastmasters meetings, putting away chairs and tables so I don't have to chit-chat. We don't like networking. To us, it feels like we're being phony and disingenuous. A Japanese study in 2006 noticed that introverts actually have lower blood pressure. Who knew? Now, introverts aren't afraid to go to parties, but it's not to meet new people. It's typically to connect with people we already know. So if you see me at Christine's party and I'm talking to people I already know, that's why. Thank you. So once you understand and you know how to identify an introvert, I think you'll find we're amazing. Why are introverts amazing? Well, yes, we happen to be a minority among the general population, but we like to tout that we're a majority among the gifted population. Arrogant? Perhaps, but for good reason. Because without introverts, we would have no Peter Pan, Chopin, Charlie Brown. We would have no theory of gravity, and we'd have no theory of relativity. I mean, if you're at a party and you're outside sitting under a tree alone, while the rest of the party is on the patio clinking glasses, there's a much greater chance that an apple is going to fall on your head. Newton was a great introvert. Without introverts, we would have no E.T. Spielberg was an introvert, or is an introvert. We would have no Google, and we would have no Cat in the Hat. Dr. Seuss used to hole himself up in the bell tower of his La Jolla home with sketches and drawings and thinking about his next book. He would rarely meet his young readers because he was afraid that if they were to meet him, they would expect some gregarious, talkative, outgoing, Cat in the Hat-like figure, whereas he was much more reserved and didn't want to let them down. So you might want to convert to introvert. Now I don't mean convert your personality. What I mean is convert your thinking towards being an introvert. Some other great traits are that we can delay gratification better. We tend to be more spiritual or philosophical rather than hedonistic or materialistic. And we're really great at noticing details that other people might notice. So once you've realized that introverts are in fact amazing, I need to share with you some ways that you can help care for them. Step 3, caring for your introvert. So in social situations, introverts aren't afraid to, like I said, go to parties, but they tend to gravitate towards who they know. So if an introvert is at a conference or a big business meeting, something with a lot of people, what I prescribe is 2 hours of alone time for every 1 hour of social time. We need time to have our downtime. And not all introverts are shy. Shyness has nothing really to do with introverts. It's all about gaining energy and losing energy. So many of us can work fine in social situations. It's just that after a period of time, we'd much rather be back home sitting in our pajamas. So what I recommend is giving yourself sort of boundaries and safe kind of limits and say, all right, we're going to go to this party. This is what my wife and I do. We're going to go to this party for 2 hours, and then we're going to go home and relax and watch TV. And that works well. Allow introverts to think before they talk. Now, this is in contrast to extroverts who often think while talking. And don't tell an introvert, you're too much in your head. We need people like that in this world. They're called thinkers. And in work situations, introverts really thrive when they can do a deep dive, to really concentrate and focus on tasks sort of in a sequential manner without a lot of distractions. So if you have the ability to control a work environment for a lot of people, I highly discourage one of those open plan work environments where everybody kind of sits at the same table, there's a lot of chatter, maybe there's music going on, and there's a lot of distraction. Because you're instantly decreasing the effectiveness and efficiency of 25 to 50% of your workforce. Introverts have this great ability to concentrate, but only if they're allowed some space to get into the flow and get into their area of expertise. Now, don't let introverts use their introversion as an excuse. Introverts, we have this ability introversion is a spectrum, right? So we have this ability to scale it up and scale it back as needed. In fact, many actors are actually introverts, and many introverts can act like extroverts in certain situations. So give us permission to scale it up in certain situations, but the ability to scale it back down in others. I think I benefited from the fact that I never really learned I was an introvert until I was 23, so I was able to actually develop some social skills. So with this unique nourishment, as introverts, we're able to thrive. Now, as I mentioned, 25 to 50% of you in this room are introverts. And if you're not an introvert, you certainly know one, and you certainly interact with one every day. And you might be driving them crazy. But hopefully with what I've shared with you, you'll have these new tools to work better with introverts. And you have an opportunity to practice. Upcoming on January 2nd every year is World Introvert Day. Yeah. So you can utilize these skills. Now you know how to identify an introvert. You know how introverts are amazing, and then how to care for your introvert. As with all complementary pairings, light and dark, yin and yang, jocks and nerds, this world would be incomplete without both introverts and extroverts. Now, if you want to go deeper on this topic, I highly recommend Susan Cain's book, Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Won't Stop Talking, in which she says, there are many types of powers in this world. And if you look to the movies, one child has been given a lightsaber. One child has been given a magic wand. The key is not to amass all powers, but to harness those that you have been given.